presentation of TNN Motorsports. In 1996, NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion Ron Hornaday was considered the hunted. With 9 races remaining in 1997, Ron Hornaday has become the hunter. Hornaday has been on a vicious tear, winning 6 of the last 8 races, staring down the top 3 leaders, Jack Sprague, Rich Bickle, and Joe Ruttman. Now, as the sun sets over Music City, USA, the question arises, can the hunter catch his prey? You are looking at one of America's most famous short tracks. Tonight, the Nashville Speedway USA plays host to the Federated Auto Parts 250 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. This racetrack has been hosting NASCAR events since 1958, but tonight is only the second time that the Craftsman trucks have been here, and there's a fellow who wants to get to victory lane. He's been there virtually every time the series goes to a short track. Ron Hornaday has won 5 consecutive short track events and 6 races in the last 8 starts. He is the hot man on a very hot night in Nashville, Tennessee. Hi, everybody. I'm Eli Gold. Welcome to Music City, USA. Temperature is still in the 90s, unseasonably warm. And that's the operative term also for the point standings in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Unseasonably warm. A 5-point spread, as you see on the vent visor point standings. Vent visor, the most practical accessory for your truck, shows you that from 1st to 4th, only 84 points separating the top 4 men. So what happens tonight could certainly shuffle the point standings. Buddy Baker joins us this evening, a former winner at this racetrack under Harry Hyde's tutelage back in 1973. You know, you knew this racetrack well, and that's why you ran well here. Same for Joe Buford, a new name that we'll be talking a lot about here tonight.
Eli, you're exactly right. He did the impossible. First truck race ever, top 5. He's starting in 5th. I think he's going to be a factor tonight.
There you see the qualifying lap he turned in here yesterday. He is a standout on the local late model stock car circuit. He has 6 wins at this racetrack, Glenn Jarrett. What do you think the chances are of him pulling an upset here this evening?
Well, Eli, I think he's got great chances. He has 23 career wins here at Nashville. Joe, you told me a little while ago that this was the biggest day of your career. A win tonight would be awesome.
Yeah, it would. We just want to get out here and pace ourselves tonight in this truck race because I'm new to these bigger motors and radial tires. I just want to get out here and ride and try to get a good finish out of the night.
Best of luck to you. Eli, he's got a great truck. This is a truck that they purchased from Roush Racing. His crew chief, Earl Owens, is a good friend of Joe Ruttman. He helped swing the deal. We'll walk all up the grid here. Brian Reffner starts 4th. Point series leader Jack Sprague will go off 3rd in the Quaker State Chevrolet. And then Ron Hornaday, we've already told a story on him. Man, he wins everything. Starting on the pole tonight, Mike Bliss had a little bit of an up-and-down season so far. Hasn't had a win yet. Looking to get that first one here tonight, Mike. Great starting position.
Yeah, you couldn't start any farther back and not be happy about this. We're pretty happy about the pole. The ASC team worked real hard, and we're excited. We got a good truck here.
Wish all these guys the best of luck. Eli, I can't wait for this thing to get started. This was one of my favorite racetracks. We're going to have a whale of a show.
Glenn Jarrett ran here on the NASCAR Busch Series schedule many a time for Marvin Faxton. Glad you're with us. A warm night in Nashville, some pretty hot racing coming up next on TNN. TNN's exclusive live coverage of the Federated Auto Parts 250 from Nashville Speedway USA is brought to you by Federated Auto Parts Stores, professional advice, brand name parts, and by the new Dodge. It's about change. A beautiful night here in Nashville, Tennessee, as we check out the AutoZone prep for the race. Brought to you by the more than 1,650 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. There you see 34 trucks going green out of the 41 who made their way to Nashville Speedway. If you're not familiar with this racetrack, the turns and straights are both banked 18 degrees. The straightaways are 750 feet long. So we have got ourselves this evening a .596 mile racetrack for the grand total of 149 miles of racing. Right now, trackside, Jeff Link, who is the president of the Gaddy Manufacturing and Supply Company, is about to give the command we've all been waiting for.
Race fans, for those most famous words in auto racing, the national chairman of Federated Auto Parts, Jim Link.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Now let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Federated Auto Parts 250 here on TNN Motorsports tonight. Third pole of the year for Mike Bliss. 7 wins this year for Ron Hornaday. The series point leader is Jack Sprague, and the pole winner a year ago here, Brian Refner. The local late model star is Joe Buford. A brand new crew this week for Butch Miller. We'll tell you more about that in a moment. Boris Said, who has the Federated colors on his truck. And there you see some of the other faces that we'll be talking about as our evening continues. Rookie of the Year contenders there in row number 5. Row number 6, Idaho's Tolsma and Massachusetts' Resendiz. 2 Busch Series races here for Chuck Bound, California's Kevin Harvick. Tom Hubert, his second start in that truck. Toby Butler here for the first time. Joe Ruttman third in points. He's 52 down. And Bob Keselowski, who was quick in practice. Missouri's Tony Roper and the Ford of Rob Rizzo. Mike Wallace, he's run here before. Terry Cook was last week's pole winner in Flemington. Wayne Anderson is 10th in points in the Slim Jim All-Pro Series. And Tony Raines, who ran here in the ASA days. Rich Bickle still nursing some injuries. Brad Teague, the veteran. Jimmy Hensley has run well here. And a brand new truck for Jay Sauter. No sponsor this week for Tammy Jo Kirk. Could be the end of the line for that racing team. Andy Houston's second race in the series. 4 consecutive top 10 finishes. Rick Corelli, Kenny Irwin in on a provisional start. That's Barry Bodine. And Eric Norris has gathered the ride that Jerry Robertson began the weekend with here in Nashville, Tennessee. The field begins to roll, the first of 3 pace laps. And when we come back, a look at the in-truck cameras, then the green flag. We're coming right back. 1 lap away from going green here at Nashville Speedway. Fred Graves figuring how quickly he can get to victory lane when this is over. He's the crew chief for Ron Hornaday. But Mike Bliss, who's carrying our on-truck cameras today, will be trying to spoil Ron Hornaday's run. There is Ron, who's won 5 short track races in succession. Boris Said here at Nashville, Tennessee, starting 7. Tom Hubert. He's in the Dana Dodge this weekend. Second time he's driven the number 18 truck this year. And Rich Bickle, 5 points down in the championship race, and his ribs are still banged up, Buddy Baker.
Yeah, he told me that, you know, on his left side, he has 3 broken ribs on the back and 1 on the front side.
There you see those who didn't qualify, including Frank Kimmel, who's 3rd in the ARCA points right now. ARCA regular Blaze Alexander. Bill Sedgwick, surprisingly, having to go home. Brian Cunningham, who wrecked yesterday. Doug George. All right, we're set to go racing. Glad you're with us on a beautiful, though warm, Saturday night in Music City, USA. Eli Gold, Buddy Baker, Glenn Jarrett, and the green is in the air.
Eli, there was a little contact there getting in turn 1 between Hornaday and Jack Sprague. You could see both trucks got a little bit sideways. They were very, very lucky not to spin there. You can see the dust where they have concrete dust down to take a little bit of the heat out of this racetrack in this high heat today.
High heat today, and concrete dust will basically absorb some of the heat and lower the track temperature as much as 10 to 15 degrees. And they put that down ever since the final practice concluded at roughly 1 o'clock Central Time, 2 o'clock Eastern. And Sprague got kind of caught up in that and loses a spot now. He'll drop back to 4th. Brian Refner in the 66 grabs 3rd.
That green truck there, that's Jack Sprague. He's the points leader right now, having his hands full. The truck seems to be very, very loose as he starts into the corner.
There is Jack Sprague by 5 points. The leader of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Fast in practice all day yesterday, as was Ruttman, as was Hornaday, as was Keselowski. There you see the spread from 10th towards the front. 70 is Buford, 66, 24 right there is Sprague. We've been talking about Jack. His dad is in attendance here this evening. Wants to do well for the family looking on.
You're riding with Boris Said as they start down in the corner. You see down the front straightaway, right out against the wall. Now, as they start in, they take the truck right down on the white line, kind of drift up in the center, then try to keep the truck without spinning the wheels coming up out of the corner.
The big key here is getting off the corner, as Dave Rezendes talked a year ago in winning the event. If you can get that good forward bite coming off the corner, that's going to be the key to running well here versus not running well.
Exactly right. You can see Hornaday's truck there, the blue truck just behind the leader here, able to hold a very tight line. He's closing in on Bliss as we speak.
There you see the view from Ron Hornaday forward towards the race leader. 18 degrees of banking in the turn and on the straightaway. You know what else they tell you here, buddy, and you've driven this racetrack, so you know far better than I, but they say that the truck or a car tries to unload to some degree coming off the corner.
Eli, this racetrack is very, very similar to Rockingham. Look at Hornaday, how close, almost contact as they start off turn 2 there. I'll tell you what, it's very similar to Rockingham as far as coming up out of the corner. The truck really wants to drift out there, and you have to be very careful. If you ever break the rear wheels loose, right into the inside wall you go.
Back to turn 1 and 2. Just joining us, we are just underway, 9 laps into the 250. That will make up this the 18th race of the year, and there goes Hornaday. This is for the lead.
Eli, just what I told you. He's able to hold a tighter line coming through the corner. You see Hornaday working hard down on the bottom side. Bliss fighting back on the outside.
We're going to eavesdrop on Hornaday's radios as well this evening to hear what his spotter has to say to him as the evening continues.
Still there. Clear.
You heard it. You're clear. And he pulls right up. And now here comes Brian Reffner to the inside of Mike Bliss.
Okay, Mike Bliss needs to get on the bottom part of the racetrack. It's a little bit quicker right now around the bottom side. You can see Reffner fighting on the inside. Here comes Jack Sprague in the green car. There goes Bliss sideways up the racetrack.
So Mike Bliss with problems. Sprague went by. Here comes Joe Buford, the local late model stock car standout with 6 wins on this track this year. He's in the 70 trying to go by. Boris Said in the 44, and you're riding with Boris now back in 6th spot. And Bliss got in line.
He finally got back, but he's not able to stay down, Eli. As he goes in, you can see the 2 truck there of Bliss. He goes in very low and then scoots right up the racetrack. That means he's not sticking to the racetrack like he wants to.
Let's take a look again at what happened to Mike Bliss with Reffner, the 66, to his inside.
I would imagine they probably touched just a little bit getting in the corner there. Bliss was trying to hold it right down in the lower part of the racetrack. There's a lot of buildup on the outside of the groove there, and he got in that looser part. You see the white part of the racetrack there? That's cement dust.
You're riding with Mike Bliss, who led the first 10 laps. Ron Hornaday took over at lap 11. We're still early, and we are so glad you're with us on this Saturday night in Music City. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on TNN is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running. Ron Hornaday continues to lead in truck number 16. Jack Sprague in the 24 is tightened right up on him, as you can cleanly see. We worked 19 laps. 19 of 250 are complete. Over the last moment or so, an unscheduled pit stop. Barry Bodine, there he is driving the number 7 truck. He was in for a quick bit of look-see. No work done by the crew, but they brought Barry Bodine in on lap number 15. Meanwhile, the 07 truck, Tammy Jo Kirk, also out of the Jeff Bodine stables. Unfortunately, Tammy Jo, there you see her truck still without a sponsor. And Tammy Jo told us yesterday that if a sponsor is not found during this coming week, there'll not be enough funds available for the team to go on to Watkins Glen for the race next weekend. And by the way, we mentioned last week that Tammy Jo's former sponsor had filed for bankruptcy. We learned this week that that report was incorrect, and tonight we are happy to set the record straight. Battle for the lead good one now at lap 22.
Boy, Jack Sprague is all over him right now. In the green truck, you can see Hornaday leading the race right now, looking and seeing nothing but green when he looks in the mirror. As they head into turn 3, Sprague is able to hold right down on the bottom, trying to make a move as they come out of the corner.
Still there, clear.
Back off into turn number 1, 23 laps on the board. And Glenn, I'll tell you, Sprague really closed in a giant hurry.
Yeah, and Eli, watch the way that the truck really turns down off the corners, what Buddy was talking about a while ago. As the trucks were on the line, Jack was in the truck. Crew Chief Dennis Connor was on the front of it, adding some more tape to the front grille, trying to give him just a little more downforce, try to make that truck turn a little better. I thought he might have overdone it there at first because I thought the truck was loose, but boy, it's come to him now.
It sure has. Working lap number 24. You saw them go by Eric Norris moments ago, putting him a lap down. As MCI brings you NASCAR timing and scoring, that crawl across the top of the screen, so you'll know exactly where everybody's running as our evening here in Nashville continues. Here goes Sprague again.
Inside.
Eli, what's happening right now, it looks like Hornaday is changing his line around the racetrack. He's being a little bit smoother, not jerking the truck down on the very bottom of the racetrack, entering the corner. He may be doing something very smart as far as keeping the tires under. You notice right now, he's almost a full lane up as he goes through the corner.
You saw the leaders go by the 65 truck. That will put Andy Houston a lap down in that red and yellow truck that is behind the leaders. Dave Resendiz won this race a year ago. Took advantage of a late race accident when Mike Skinner was making up a couple of laps and got together with Harry Gantz.
Clear. Whoa.
Close call racing right there.
Boy, I mean, Hornaday got hooked by the lap car truck there as they started in the corner and almost lost control in turn 1.
That was Brad Teague as they were going around. Now for the 4th place battle. It's heated up now. You've got Bliss in the 2, Joe Buford, the local favorite in the 70, Scott Walters, who drives in tandem with David Green and Mark Green in that Bruco number 37 truck. They're all battling now for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Again, the 12 just ahead of them going high. That's Eric Norris. Meanwhile, watch what happened moments ago there. Hornaday goes around there. We have trouble now in the corner. Trouble in turn number 2 as Mike Wallace has problems on the back straightaway going through the corner, and we're under yellow. Lap number 30 is on the board. Mike Wallace, who has run here in the NASCAR Busch Series in the past, has problems off in the corner.
Eli, you can see smoke coming out of the left exhaust pipe there. That usually means that the engine's let go really bad.
Tough break. You see, Dayco is the sponsor on board. That is the sister company, sister brand, if you will, to Purelator, which normally sponsors that truck. Dayco belts and hoses on board the truck here this weekend. And you see Mike beginning to get himself unhooked. And it looks as though it is an early night for Mike Wallace. Tough break because he's run so very well, including a great race last weekend in Flemington, New Jersey. Right now under caution, time for us to take a look at this week's Dodge Innovation in Motion. An interesting bit of information from Glenn Jarrett.
You know, normally when we see cowl induction on a NASCAR race machine, we see it introduced from the cowl area at the bottom of the windshield. This year, for the first time in the Truck Series, cowl induction is introduced from the front grille area. There's a reason for that. Mike Bodick, the crew chief, and the number 18, Dana Dodge, is going to tell us why. Mike, what's the story?
Well, Glenn, it actually saves us a lot of time with building the trucks. We can just go and take a stock grill, knock a 24-inch square opening in the front, put some screen over it. Behind that, we put what used to be a brake duct scoop, run 3.5-inch hose back to the air cleaner base. It actually works as forced air back to the carburetor. Makes the engine run a little bit cooler, makes it a little bit more efficient. And behind that, we run an aluminum backing panel, which in the event of running in the back of another truck, keeps us from losing all our front downforce. It helps us, we're allowed to stay out there and keep running instead of having to come in and tape everything up.
So, an interesting look at some of the innovations around the world of NASCAR racing. Down on the pit lane, Kenny Irwin is in for an unscheduled stop. We'll update that shortly. But Glenn Jarrett is caught up with Mike Wallace. And Glenn, Mike and I have this running gag every week. He says, now, Eli, give me my 20 minutes of airtime. I don't think this is what he wanted.
Mike, Eli said you're going to get your 20 minutes of airtime. We know you didn't want it right now. Man, you didn't even get to break a sweat.
It's very, very disappointing. I mean, the Pure Late or Pure 1 truck was running extremely well. It was handling great. And it was one of those deals, we were just riding. I mean, if somebody got out of shape, he got by him. If not, they come down the front straightaway, thought he was going to make a little run on Crawford, and it just blew up. So I don't know, something internally broke. It's locked up solid, but it's a shame. You know, I thought we had a truck that really had a shot to win the race tonight, but I guess we'll go to the Glen and try it there.
Better luck next week, Mike. And as they say, Eli, the nose knows when he brought that truck in here. Man, it smelled awful. I'm moving.
Glenn Jarrett, a man, when he knows bad smells, Glenn Jarrett knows a bad smell. 33 laps to complete. We're early here in Nashville.
Race fans, you make the call. New LCI residential long-distance customers receive 30 minutes of free domestic calling and the World Card Plus calling card featuring participating NASCAR drivers. Don't delay. Call now, 1-888-TEAM-LCI.
Welcome back, everybody, as we continue from Nashville, Tennessee. Restart just half a lap ago. And there you see Ron Hornaday showing the way. Over second place, Jack Sprague. Brian Reffner still in the 66 truck running third.
Brian Reffner looks to be very, very strong. You can see running up on Sprague there, closed in some 2 truck lengths through the middle part of the corner there. Brian's having a great run today.
Through the corner on the restart, only one retiree, Mike Wallace. We're at lap 38 of 250. Good battle, 3 wide, and up into the wall goes Eric Norris as he was going wide in the truck that Robertson tried to qualify. Couldn't get in. Jerry Robinson's truck, and Eric Norris securing the ride earlier today. So they've got that Wolverine sponsorship on board, and he'll head to the pit lane.
Eli has the right front tire on the 12 truck flat as he tries to get in the pit area. He did a good job of staying out of everybody's way.
He had already been a lap down, Norris was, as we're back up front again, riding with Ron Hornaday, who took the lead at lap 11 after Mike Bliss led the first 10 laps. There goes Joe Buford now around Mike Bliss, grabbing the 4th spot, and again, well, yeah, I was going to say again he couldn't cover the inside, but he managed to that time. Glenn, what's the deal on Bliss? He doesn't seem quite as strong as earlier.
Eli, there are some strange noises coming from Bliss's truck as he goes by. Crew Chief Barry Dodson just told me during that caution period that either the engine is blowing up or they've got a plug wire that's come off. It's only on 7 cylinders. He hopes it doesn't get any worse. We went down and checked on Kenny Irwin to see why he made that early pit stop. He was way in the back of the pack, about to get lapped. They made a chassis adjustment. They have been chasing and fighting that thing since they unloaded yesterday.
He is being shown in 27th spot. Busy week for Kenny Irwin. He tested the Robert Yates number 28 car, the car he's going to drive next year in NASCAR Winston Cup. He was in Richmond, Virginia at Richmond International Raceway. They plan on 5 races later this year, and Kenny Irwin was there testing earlier in the week. There you see the 98 having to work around some of the slower traffic as we ride now with Rich Bickle. 22 position right now, 22nd for Rich, driving for Darrell Waltrip, who continues as the winningest driver in this racetrack's history. Darrell with 55 victories here at Nashville Speedway USA. There's Boris Said in the 44. Scott Walters challenging him for 6th in the 37 truck.
Hey, don't do it. No, Boris was going to pull down there. He made a wise decision not to try to come across the racetrack.
Boris said not going to do it.
Yeah, you see Scott Walters there. He's doing a very, very nice job as he heads down the front straightaway. What you have now is a very, very shaded racetrack down the front straightaway. The sun picks it up right there. You have 2 different types of racetracks to run on.
Looking out the back of Boris Said's Federated Auto Parts truck. The 86, that's Compton. Stacy Compton closing in behind him in 8th. And there's Tony Raines.
Inside.
Tags the wall. You see some of the damage there, the wrinkle on that right side of the truck. He just caught the corner.
Also, the tire itself had concrete dust all over it, Eli. He hit it pretty hard, but you can see the truck is running very well.
Tony Raines, 33 points behind Kenny Irwin in the battle for the Cintas Rookie of the Year. Back up front, the battle for the lead. Jack Sprague in the 24, Hornaday in the 16.
Hornaday running a higher groove right now. You can see Jack Sprague in the 24 there. Cannot make the move. He can run very, very well in, but the momentum for the 16 truck of Hornaday seems to pull him right on back around.
And you see Brian Refner, the third truck in line. There he is, the 66. Just waiting and watching, and boy, do they ever need a strong run here. Let's see what Sprague can do now.
Okay, this is a power move here. He should be able to take the lead, but Hornaday's going to fight him for this real estate. You can see very close there.
Keeps the momentum up off the corner.
Oh, boy, that's a power move there by Hornaday on the outside. He's making Sprague earn every bit of the track position that he's trying to make here.
Lap 51. 51 of 250. Everybody watching this. Glenn Jarrett, no exception.
Eli, you're exactly right about Brian Refner and his guys needing a good run, a good finish here. He's got a lot of experience on this racetrack. He's running the Southern 400, which is run here in the fall about 4 or 5 times. He feels like he's got as good a shot to win on this racetrack as any he goes to. Right now, the way Hornaday and Sprague are battling for the lead, he might be the guy who can slip by them both if they make contact.
At the same time as the front three go by, the separation between third place and fourth place Joe Buford is 3 3/10 seconds, so they have pulled away. There you see the folks from Napa bringing you NASCAR timing and scoring now, and again the full rundown. Dave Rezendes in 10th there, last year's winner. Trouble up in turn number 2. Kenny Irwin does the 360, but there's no caution. No caution. The Ray Bestis truck goes around, and Irwin continues on his way. I'll tell you, Kenny Irwin has been out of the top 13 finishers in 7 of his last 8 races. This has not been a good stretch for him, and there he goes a lap down. If Hornaday can pass cleanly, well, he passes him, but I don't know about the cleanly part.
Yeah, you could see him make a little contact there, but Hornaday stayed with him going in the corner.
Watch what happened there. He's already loose. Don't know if he might have gotten some help there. It was tough to tell from that angle. Backstretch now. Caution is on the speedway. That is the Dana Dodge for Tom Hubert, driving for the second time in that truck here in 1997. He's going to continue on around, but we are under caution. Caution at lap number 56. It's on the speedway for the second time this evening, as the leader is Ron Hornaday. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on TNN is brought to you by the more than 1,650 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. You see the address, www.nascar.com. We call it our 24-hour NASCAR Garage Pass, but folks, we're serious. Last night in the hotel, we logged on to see what was going on up in Michigan and get the rundown from all the doings up at the Irish Hills. So not just for fans, it's for everybody. NASCAR Online. Check it out to better keep up with the world of NASCAR racing. There's Tom Hubert, who spun moments ago, bringing out the caution. And, buddy, why don't you take us through this ride?
Well, this is one you see him going down in the corner right now. He's just behind Keselowski. As he starts to accelerate, he loses the back. Watch this, folks. Boom! Into the inside wall. That's something you don't want to do here.
But he did continue on around, and there you see a bit of damage there right behind the numerals, right behind the 18. But able to continue. Tom Hubert does lose a lap. He's in 29th. Kenny Irwin just ahead of him there on the inside groove. Truck number 98. He is a lap down as well, running in 28th position. The top 27 are currently on the lead lap. Eric Norris remains on the pit lane. He has been in a number of times now in the truck again that Jerry Robertson tried to qualify. Joe Buford still running well, the local favorite. Bit of a loose condition in the truck, but he's still running fourth, buddy.
Kenny Irwin here on the inside trying to make that lap up he's lost now. You see Hornaday taking off very, very much in command as they head into turn one.
Trying to pass Hornaday on a restart. It's kind of like trying to beat me at the buffet table. I mean, some things you just don't want to try.
I'm not going there.
Lap number 61 is on the board of 250. As wrapping up our second caution period, we've been under yellow twice for a total of 12 laps.
See Mike Bliss there trying to fight under Buford as they head down into turn 3. He got all the way up under the truck, but Buford really accelerated strong down the back straightaway.
Mike Bliss running in fifth. We ride with him. If you're an Andy Houston fan, he's been on pit road a number of times here of late, back on the racetrack again. Bliss is doing all right despite whatever the problem might be. There goes Hubert giving everybody room.
I'd say Hubert right now has a lot of problems, even though it does not look like a lot of damage to the right side of that truck. The marks on the back straightaway showed that he hit very, very hard. That truck's out of control.
Lap number 64. Buford in the 70. He's the local late model stocker. Now looking back from Tom Hubert towards Mike Bliss, who is in fifth. The 37, Scott Walters in sixth. The 44, Boris Said is seventh. You've got Stacy Compton in eighth now. Ninth is Chuck Bowen in the 99. Chuck's run here a couple of times in NASCAR Busch Series competition. That's fifth place on the screen.
Scott Walters doing a very, very nice job in the 37 truck just behind Mike Bliss here. You see he's right on the tailgate. One slip by Bliss and he takes the spot.
67 laps are complete. Now to Glenn Jarrett.
Yeah, Eli, if we can get a look at the exhaust pipe on the left side of Mike Bliss's truck. You know, we told you he had a problem. He's battling right now. Looks like Walters is going to go by him. But if you can see the left side, look at the forward pipe, the one closest to the front. Both pipes come out the same side. You can see how much darker it is than the one right beside it. They know that the engine problem is on the left side of the engine because that's the exhaust pipe that comes off that side. They know where it is. They just don't know what it is.
Good eyes right there. Again, you see that the pipe closest to the front of the truck is clearly darker than the one behind it. Not only can Glenn Jarrett smell a problem,
he can see it too
from a long way away. See the difference?
Yep.
As we ride with Boris Said now in seventh spot. The leader is Hornaday, took the lead at lap 11, has not looked back. Mike Bliss led the first 10 laps. Again, the 18 is the lap truck of Tom Hubert.
Boy, this can't last like this. Right now, you can see Boris Said in the 44 looking outside, inside, trying to get by Bliss. This has got to happen here pretty quick.
This is for sixth place. Like every race on the circuit, we will break at the halfway point here tonight for 5 minutes. But until then, no tire changes are permitted unless you have a tire on the ground totally flat. Again, Boris Said there in the 44, looked inside of the 2. You've got Resendiz right behind him also. And Dave is getting off the corners well. He's running right up on the rear deck of Said and then can't get around Boris either because of what's stacked up there in front of Boris Said.
Well, you see, Bliss is reporting he's having a problem, and down the straightaway there, you can see Tom Hubert's truck is a little bit quicker. Now, Boris Said, oh, I knew it was...
Boris Said, get out of the way.
Boy, sometimes you just know things are going to happen, and that had to start happening pretty quick. Boris Said much quicker down the straightaway right now than the Bliss truck.
And now we've got Chuck Bowen, the 99 right there. Look at that. Somebody got into him. A tire rub. Yep, that sheet metal is caved in. Chuck is running 11, battling there with the 80 of Joe Ruttman. Also in the left rear, somebody got into him. You see right underneath the X side there on the left rear of the truck. It's caved in and up.
What probably happened there, somebody hit him in the left rear and knocked him into the truck in front of him and caved the right front back in on the tire just a little bit. But I guarantee you, anybody that's running behind him right now is going, when is this tire going to let go?
He is in 10th, just ahead of Joe Ruttman, 11. And 12th place, Toby Butler. Great to see Toby back on the circuit.
You know, Eli, we've watched this happen many a time. The 99 truck is beginning to knock the smoke on the right front. It's worn a little bit of the rubber away from that tire fender that's back on the tire there.
Meanwhile, this is for the lead now. We'll keep an eye on Chuck Bound in 10th, but let's watch here as everything tightens up. Sprague in the 24, Hornaday in the 16. Sprague has not led yet here this evening. Just gets that great bite off the corner, Hornaday does, and just pulls him on the straight.
Looking inside, he's there, clear.
There's Kenny Irwin, and he is slowing down. We just saw a good bit of smoke from behind the Ray Bestis truck again, and they are going to bring him down the pit lane. We see his crew beginning to get in position, so his problems continue. But watch this scramble now. In turn one, there's a problem. Trouble up in the corner, and we are under caution as Randy Tolsma, going off into turn number one, ends up on the high side of the 18-degree banking. Caution, lap number 80 for the third time tonight. Ron Hornaday continues to lead, but Kip Childress is driving the pace truck on the track. It is country.com, your personal source for all things country, from race cars to country stars. Connect to country.com, www.country.com. It's where you'll find all of us in the world of cyberspace. There's Kenny Irwin. Remember before the break I said looked like there might be some smoke coming out of the Ray Bestis truck? Take a look. It wasn't smoke at all, but look at this.
Look at it. That's the overflow. He's running very, very hot. That's water down on the racetrack, and that is what caused Randy Tolsma to back it into the wall going into turn one.
Because Randy Tolsma followed right in behind Kenny Irwin's truck through that moisture that began to vent from Irwin's Ford and up into the wall he goes. Watch it from Rich Bickle's view. You just saw him cut right across through traffic. Tough break right there. Glenn Jarrett, what'd they do on Irwin's truck?
Eli, they brought him in under that caution, and they took some tape off the front of the truck. The engine guy said that the thing was running about 240 degrees, which is a little bit hotter than what they want. So they took some tape off. It was not pushing any water out when he left pit road. Normally when they come in and stop, it heats up even more, pushes more water out. So maybe he's past the point of pushing any more water out, or maybe it's out of water.
What would a good temperature be, Glenn? You say 240 is hotter than you'd want. What would be an ideal number for the folks who are new to our sport?
Well,
we'll talk about that with Glenn and Buddy when we come back. The fans are keeping everybody cool in the garage, while you see the other kind of fans, the ones who have packed the grandstand. Great crowd here tonight at Nashville Speedway USA. As we were saying moments ago, Glenn Jarrett, I know you were checking on another story at the time. Talk about the correct temperature for water and so on for these trucks. A lot of folks are new to NASCAR racing. 240 might be a bit warmer. What would you look for ideally?
Ideally, Eli, you would look today somewhere around 210, maybe up to 220 max for water temperature, around 200 for oil temperature. Now, it's been well documented today that my nose works. My eyesight was real good. I picked up that deal on Blitz's truck, but man, I came here to save my soul.
What'd you say?
Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right.
Eli, on a day like today, when you're in real heavy traffic, 220 is not anything to concern yourself with. But the minute it goes over 220, it gets to the boiling stage in the motor, and that's when it starts pushing the water out, as you could see on the 98 just a little while ago.
I remember you told me once, and I forget where it was, that you'd run 225 and you weren't pushing water out.
Exactly. I mean, we run a special cap that would hold it to like 230 if you had to. I have run them a lot hotter than that, and they would make it. But most of the time, when you get to 240, it starts to seep the water out of the overflow.
Hall of Famer Buddy Baker, who was a winner here in Nashville, August 25th, 1973. I was a mere child at the time. I just read about it in a history book. Oh, man, we're happy. Going into the National Motorsports Press Association Hall of Fame, Buddy Baker is. As problems are big time here on the main straightaway on the restart, while everybody goes off into turn number 1. The back of the field has stacked up here on the main straightaway. Bob Keselowski, Jay Sauter is involved. The 97 of Wayne Anderson is involved. And we are under caution. It all happened at the back of the middle to the back of the field on the restart. And, Buddy, let's take a look for everybody here.
Okay, you could just see a truck go by just a second ago, but these guys are making contact as they start off turn 4 there. It was due to a chain reaction. Mike Bliss got sideways. Everybody started checking up, and trucks run into each other coming off the corner there.
Keselowski there. You had Wayne Anderson, who was 10th in the NASCAR Slim Jim All-Pro Series. He got stacked up there. Jay Sauter was against the inside wall, but he has now since pulled away. There's Anderson's truck, and boy, it took some mean licks. Let's take another look again here at lap number 89 at exactly what happened. Watch right there. Keselowski into the wall. Then you see Anderson got nudged by Sauter. Oh, and here came Jimmy Hensley.
A lot of damage to Jimmy Hensley, the 43 truck there. That's the Richard Petty Dodge. As you can see it going by, the nose of it torn up pretty bad. But what really happened was just a little bit ahead of there, Mike Bliss, as they dropped the green flag, run in the back of another truck, got sideways. As they started off, the guys back there began to see that there was problems in front of them, and everybody started checking up. It's just chain reaction.
What'd you see, Glenn, from your angle?
Pretty much like Buddy says, but Bliss got tagged from behind by Dave Resendez, and I thought at first it was because, you know, Bliss has got the engine problem, and the truck just didn't come up to speed, and Resendez dove down below him and clipped him going by. That's what turned him sideways. I'm not saying that he didn't get to the back of somebody also, but I did see Resendez. That's hard to say when I'm trying to talk fast. I did see Dave run into the back of him. You can see some damage on the back of Resendez's truck as he comes by. The 3 truck of Jay Sauter is in the pit right now. They're working on it. Looks to be mostly sheet metal damage. They're worried about the front radiator. Also, they're working on Hensley's truck, trying to get him straightened out. Meanwhile, to add to the woes, Rich Bickle, number 17, started way back in 25th, has a good truck. He cannot hear the crew at all. He cannot hear the spotter. Man, he's out there on his own. This ain't the place to have to do that.
Rich Bickle currently in 16th. You saw Jimmy Hensley right there. He's going back on the track. They were so hopeful of a good run tonight because Jimmy likes this track, and his team manager, Freddie Fryer, a former track champion in his late model stock car days, right here at Nashville Speedway USA. So maybe this won't be a devastating blow to the Cummins Dodge, but a lot of work being done on Bob Keselowski's truck. We'll update you when we come back. The official transportation company of Opryland. There's Jimmy Hensley back on the pit lane. Jay Sauter has been in for service. This at lap numbers 93 and 94. Here again is what happened. Chain reaction. Anderson into Keselowski, Sauter, Hensley, and the rest. Green flag is in the air. We're back to racing.
Eli, we don't have very many laps until the halfway break. Some of these trucks that are beat up a little bit, if they can just stay in the lead lap, they'll have time to work on them at the halftime. Boy, Hornaday, look what a jump he got in one lap there. That's about a 15 truck length lead there in just one lap.
Just a half mile around. Jack Sprague, the green truck, is in second. Old Joe Buford there in the 70, still doing a super job. He's the local regular. And now Boris Said moving inside of Kenny Irwin. You see the 18-degree banking. And Boris is clear of the 98, clear of race traffic for the moment. We're at lap 97. Halfway is lap 125, with the break coming at lap 126.
See Joe Buford in the 70 truck there. He took all that racetrack getting ready to go into turn 1 over Tom Hubert there. Kind of moved him over there. Boris said in the 44 moving up on Hubert now to get by him on the inside.
Now Boris Shed inside of Tom Hubert. He's a lap down, Hubert is. Shed goes by, brings the Bruco truck for Scott Walters with him. Randy Tolsma is in the garage as you see the battle for the lead. That accident of moments ago has sent Tolsma to the garage.
Jack Sprague is strong after about 5 or 6 laps. After they get kind of strung out, I believe he may have the quicker truck, but Ron Hornaday, a master of holding his line around the racetrack and doing the right thing.
Off turn 4, back to the stripe, lap 100. 100 laps on the board, 150 remaining. There you see all the scoring rundowns across the top of the screen. Still quite warm out. Again, much of the track in shadows, the back portion of the track in the bright sunshine, Glenn.
Well, absolutely, Eli, but one guy who's not smiling in the sunshine too much right now, Bob Keselowski, has climbed from his battered Ram truck, and just a victim of circumstances. Bob, you going to be able to get it back in?
I don't know, Glenn. It's pretty bad shape up front, and then they tell me they got some damage in the rear here, too, so I'm just kind of going around seeing where we're at right now. Don't look good, though.
No, it doesn't. In fact, the guys are doing a lot of work to the front suspension of the truck. A lot of steering component having to be replaced, so it's going to be a long, long night for Bob Keselowski. Already has been.
Wayne Anderson is in the garage from that incident. Keselowski, as well as you've heard. Hensley and Sauter have both continued on. Jimmy Hensley is in 22nd on the lead lap. Sauter is in 23rd, also on the lead lap.
Eli, looking back from Hornaday's truck here, you see Jack Sprague just behind him. Joe Buford doing a wonderful job. First truck race ever. He did go to Bristol one time, but had an accident in practice there. You can see he's actually closing in now on Sprague.
Good scramble back at 9th spot. How about that? Bickle in the 17, Bliss in the 2, Stacy Compton the 86. There's Chuck Bound in the 99. That's 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. 13th position is Tony Raines in the yellow Pennzoil truck. You see him up against the wall there. Trying the outside power move on Bliss. This is for 11th.
Boy, you can see right there, Bliss's truck is not up to full song right now. Down the straightaway, he's losing a great amount of time to the trucks that are hitting on all this.
19 laps to go, 19.
Lap 144 remaining, just 19 to halfway. You heard that on one of the radios we were listening to moments ago. There's 19 to go, the crew chief said, until that halfway break.
Ooh, man. Hammy Joe, go ahead.
Just powering on by Tom Hubert. Kevin Harvick in the 75 to his inside. Harvick is an 18. Haven't talked much about the 6 truck. You got a quick glimpse of 19th place runner Rick Corelli. He's in the middle of that big pack. And there's Rick Crawford right there, the Circle Bar, number 14. He is running well in Rookie of the Year standings.
Whoa, a little bit loose off turn 4 there. You can see Crawford's truck, the 14 there, was very, very loose as they started off turn 4.
But listen here, with Crawford running as well as he is right now, and the rookie point leader Kenny Irwin back in 27th, this could be a big-time night for Crawford if he can make up some distance here. He's only 11 points down in the rookie battle as it is. Watch what happened here seconds ago for Tom Hubert. That's when everybody squeezed on by. Just rim-rode it right through the wall.
Eli, he had a choice there. Either hit the wall hard or hit it easy. He backed out with throttle and just kind of scraped the wall there. You can see Tammy Joe and the 07 really fly by him as he made contact with the outside wall.
There's Rick Crawford again, just ahead of Bliss. Crawford in 16th. He's run here many times on the NASCAR Slim Jim All-Pro Series and has run well. I said, what's the big difference for you? He said, these trucks are 600 pounds heavier. He said, if you don't think that plays with the momentum, he said, you got something else coming. But he's doing all right. Moving up now to the 15th spot.
Yeah, you're talking about Rick Crawford. He has a little bit of damage to the front valence on that truck. I'm sure it has a little bit to do with the downforce on the truck because it is bent down towards the racetrack. I noticed it just a second ago.
A lot of good observations here in the middle stage of the event. There's 14th place on your screen. The yellow truck, Dave Resendiz, he's in 14th, truck 35. And you've got Crawford in the 14, Chuck Bound in the 99, all battling for position. That's 13th, 14th, and 15th. Back up front, Hornaday and Sprague. There you see the spread between the top two. Glenn, did they get the hookup all set for Jack Sprague tonight? I know they were hoping to have Rick Hendrick on the two-way radio from home back in the Carolinas talking to Jack tonight. Did they get that hooked up?
I believe they have, Eli. Their PR person, Judy Dominic, just handed me a note that said that Rick Hendrick is on the radio hookup with Jack and the rest of the team. It's good that Rick is able to be involved. We all know he's fighting his battle with leukemia. We wish him the very best. And Rick, we appreciate you joining in. Hope that your guy continues to do well, and we hope to see you at the racetrack real soon. But Rick Hendrick right in there with him, Eli.
Well, he's no doubt saying, step on it, step on it. Jack's doing just that. Going around, Hubert again are the leaders.
Still there. Clear.
Third place, Brian Repner, still riding comfortably, but a goodly distance back. And his lap speeds are almost 3 to 4 tenths per lap slower than the front two. Everybody is. There's Brian Repner.
You could see why Jack Sprague had dropped back a little bit from that camera shot just coming out of the corner there. Jack Sprague very loose up out of turn 2. Brian Repner has run a super good race all day today, and look just behind him. Joe Buford, first time in a truck for a long run here. He's doing a great job sitting there just pecking away at him.
Again, Buford, the local standout here. 18 starts this year, 6 wins, 10 top 10s in the late model stock car circuit here. Nice save.
Don't brag on him, man. Did you see what a great catch there? Buford very, very sideways coming out of turn 4. If he hadn't had a lot of track knowledge here, I'm afraid he would have went around then.
Yeah. You might remember the name. Remember the name Fluky Buford? I don't know if that was his dad, who was the great track champion here for many, many years. I guess probably back in the 70s.
Darrell Waltrip can tell you about him. He gave Darrell Waltrip all he could stand on many nights here.
Watch what happened to Fluky's boy right here.
Okay, this is good truck control. You see the back of the truck come out right there. He's steering into it, loses it, drives back. It wobbles a little bit, never lost the position, and was very, very lucky to hang on to that truck.
But he did just that, and he still runs in 4th ahead of Scott Walters, the 37 and 5th. And hey, there's Butch Miller in the 20. We have not talked much about Butch Miller at all here this evening, but you know that early in the week, everyone except 2 crew members left the number 20 team. And look at him go around Scott Walters. Only the team transporter, the truck driver, and 1 general mechanic remained. The general mechanic is leaving after this event, but everybody else, they filled all the positions. Walker Evans and his wife Phyllis, they rehired new folks, and they're at full strength here this weekend. But at the first of the week, everyone but 2 guys left that Orleans racing team there for Butch Miller, and here he is running 5th.
Doing a very, very great job. That ran here many times in the ASA. A winner here. You can see he's making that truck do anything he wants to right down on the bottom of the racetrack. Just a second ago, passed several trucks on the outside. So the truck's really hooked up.
Meanwhile, we are coming to the halfway point. Ron Hornaday, the race leader right there, number 16. The 3 truck, Jay Sauter, gamely trying, if he can, to stay on the lead lap. He wants to get around to the flags here for the caution. and stay on the lead lap. And the caution will be shown right there to Ron Hornaday. So Ron Hornaday, the Gatorade Front Runner Award, as we have reached the halfway point of the Federated Auto Parts 250. Caution number 5 of the day. And for some of these teams, it could not have come at a better time. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on TNN is brought to you by Mopar, Chrysler Corporation Parts, and the Chrysler Plymouth Dodge Jeep and Eagle dealers who sell and install them. And by the original Vent Visor, the most practical accessory for your truck. We are live at Nashville Speedway USA, the halfway portion of the Federated Auto Parts 250. Another lead at the halfway break for Ron Hornaday. The Gatorade Front Runner Award is his yet again. Glenn Jarrett's down in the midst of all that mayhem. Glenn?
And I am, and Ron has crawled out of the truck here to cool off a little bit. They're not making a whole lot of changes to that thing. Fred told me they were going to take a pound of air out of the right front, change tires. That's about it.
Napper Chevrolet's awesome. I learned how to drive the track about the last 35 laps, so we got a good truck. We're just going to see what we can do to it. But Steve Park, congratulations. Dale Earnhardt Jr. done a heck of a job for his first Busch racing. We got to get that. We need that guitar, you know. I've seen Steve Park get one. It's about time for me to get one here at Nashville.
Can you play it?
I'm not counting my chickens yet. Jack's pretty tough, but we'll see what we can do. I think we're holding something back. We'll see.
Okay, I'm going to go to Sprague now. I don't think you quite understood what I said there, as most of these guys don't. We'll get with Jack Sprague here if I can stay out of the way here. Jack, you gave Ron an awfully hard run there, but have you got anything more for him in the second half?
Well, I think I do. You know, the Quaker State Chevrolet's running awful good. It's just I had to use too much up trying to get by him, so I'm going to take my time a little bit more and hopefully get by him closer to the end and win this thing.
You running him as hard as you can, or you got something left? I mean, I know you got a little left, but or have you been running the truck as hard as it would go?
I got a little left.
Well, I guess he's going to show us in the second half. We'll go back up top, and we'll talk to some more guys.
Let's establish exactly what Ron Hornaday said there before. Number one, he congratulated Steve Park, who won the NASCAR Busch Series race today, the Detroit Gasket 200 up in Michigan. Dale Earnhardt Jr. finished 7th, a strong run. And the guitar he talked about, that is the trophy that they give to the big race winners here at Nashville Speedway USA. And earlier this year, when the NASCAR Busch Series was here, Steve Park won that race, got the guitar. We still don't know if he can play it, Glenn, but we'll find out maybe in Victory Lane. Who knows?
Absolutely. We moved over to Joe Buford now. And Joe, I talked to you before the race. You said you were going to use your head. You were going to take your time. You have done just that. He's talking to the crew chief right now, guys. Okay, here we go. You said you were going to take it easy. You did just that. Great first half. You got something left in the second?
I don't know. The guys out front, they're pretty strong. I developed a real loose problem at the end of the race on this first segment. We're just trying to hang on what we got and have a good finish tonight.
Well, you're doing a good job. Keep it up, buddy. Back up top to Eli. I'm going to check on the 2 truck. They may have found their problem.
Mike Bliss, he's running back in 16th spot, but again, they're afraid they may have a spark plug wire problem. We'll follow up on that as soon as we come back. Another half of racing yet to go in Nashville. Don't leave us. Coming up later tonight, the Pennzoil World of Outlaws stars letting it all hang out. The most prestigious, highest-paying event in sprint car racing. The Amoco Knoxville Nationals tune in tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on TNN Motorsports. Tomorrow on TNN Motorsports, the drivers of the SCCA Trans Am Series will be racing on the 4-mile road course at Road America. That's up at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. The Texaco Haviland 200 tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on TNN Motorsports. Driver change down on the pit lane. Scott Walters climbing out of the Bruco truck. Wayne Anderson is getting in. There you see that change taking place right now. Anderson, who was involved in the accident earlier on lap number 89 and his truck unable to be repaired, he is now climbing aboard the 37 truck, replacing Scott Walters. Let's check out how they're running here at halfway. Ron Hornaday, Sprague, Ruffner, Miller, and Buford. Great stories, both for Butch Miller and Joe Buford. Scott Walters getting out, Wayne Anderson getting in. Morris said, Rich Bickle, Joe Ruttman, Stacy Compton. That is your top 10. Taking you further back, Old Tammy Jo's having a fine run, unsponsored as she is, in 12th.
I'll tell you what, she's outrunning a lot of good trucks out there, and she really needs to have a great run tonight. We're all pulling for her.
Rick Corelli, Jay Sauter. There's Tammy Jo. Further back in the running order right now as they line up to start the second half. Some who have been in the garage area, some who are done for the evening, including Anderson, Keselowski, and then the final few runners there, Randy Tolsma, Terry Cook, Brad Teague, and Mike Wallace, who left back at lap 30 with a blown engine. Glenn, what they find on Mike Bliss, we saw him go by in 16th on the leaderboard.
Yeah, and I think he'll be moving up some now, Eli. As I told you right before we went to break, they think they found the problem. They did. This is the plug wire off the left side of the engine. You can see the wire here burn completely into, oh, that's hot, man. That really hurt. It's burned. Let's see the book on the, oh, we got trouble. Wow, look at this. The number 66 truck of Brian Refner has crashed under caution here.
Barry Bodine is stopped, and Tony Raines right there in the 19. How bizarre, under the pace laps. They were giving him 2 pace laps before they go green. Refner and Raines. Bodine has pulled away. How bizarre. How unusual.
Wow, look at the damage there to the truck. I mean, the whole front peeled back.
I wonder if they were wiggling back and forth, taking care of the tires, and one went in and the other one went in. I didn't see it, to be very honest.
Well, you see right there, the right, look at Tony Raines' truck, the 19 there. A lot of damage to the right front corner. You can see the nose of the truck completely knocked in, so he ran in the back of somebody.
There, Brian Refner's truck sits.
There's concrete dust on the outside of the tires there, so he got up into the wall. Whether that was before or after the contact was made with the other trucks of Raines, you can't tell, but...
We'll try and unravel all that took place here. Find out, but the lights are back on the safety truck. We remain under caution. Halfway through in Nashville, the Federated Auto Parts 250. We've got to be very honest with you up front here. We have no record of what happened. The second half of the race hadn't even begun. We weren't rolling tape on the halftime pace laps, so we don't know exactly what happened. But Brian Refner might be able to tell us, Glenn, what's the story?
Oh, absolutely, Eli, and it's a most unhappy story. Brian, what happened out there?
Well, we were just trying to go back up to our spot. I was going around on the outside because they were already starting to double up, so... Yeah, it's just a shame. You know, I got pinched between somebody scrubbing their tires, and that's unfortunate for the Carlin Ford. We had a great run. We did a small adjustment for the second half, and it's just the way our year's gone. It's just a sad story, but, you know, at least we can run, know we can run, and we just have to go for the next one. It's been our story all year.
Well, it has been, but I tell you what, I really thought with the adjustment they made, guys, that he might have something for Hornaday and Sprague. He was very strong the first part of the race. What a terrible thing to happen.
Man, I'd be spitting bullets. He's remarkably cool, but kind of like a guess there. He got into somebody, or as somebody was scrubbing tires, and that's...
Eli, what they're talking about, you see the trucks going back and forth there. They're getting the excess rubber and debris off the tires. They go back and forth like that, and if you're coming by on the outside and get snagged, it puts you right in the wall.
Now, you see the 37 truck, third from the end of that line, the 37? That was the truck that was in 6th. Scott Walters driving it. But in this series with a driver change like this, Wayne Anderson taking over, you have to go to the back of the field. So even though they finished the first half running 6th and Scott Walters did a fine job, Wayne Anderson will go to the back of the field in that Redman Chevy truck. We are set to go green. This will wrap up the halftime break. Ron Hornaday, the race leader in the 16 truck, the 75, Kevin Harvick. First one a lap down to his inside, trying to get a lap back on the start.
That might
be contact there. Hornaday.
Still there, still there. Still there. Still there. Whoa.
There, hit it again.
Coming on the outside.
Eli, this thing's a little out of control here.
Sprague takes takes advantage of Harvick's repeated hits on Hornaday, and we have a new leader here in Nashville.
Wow.
Man.
You talk about bizarre.
I'll tell you something. It takes guts to just run up on the leader like that and start beating and banging with it.
Yeah, that won't get you a Christmas card anytime soon. I'll tell you. You see Hornaday there in the 16 now. He's got to do something pretty incredible to get by Sprague as good as he runs down the straightaway.
So Sprague takes the lead at lap 128. Watch this here. And that was like the second or third time they had gotten together. So Sprague takes the lead, lap 128. Third different leader of the night. Mike Bliss led the first 10 laps. Hornaday lap 11 through 127. And Sprague now at lap 128. Kevin Harvick stays a lap down now. He's in the 20th, just one lap in arrears. Glenn Jarrett.
Guys, I finally put a finger on why we're having all this bizarre stuff happening. Look up there at that moon.
Uh-oh.
That's the reason all this crazy stuff's happening.
Boy, I tell you what, I've raced many a time under a full moon, and weird things do happen.
Sound effects courtesy of the Lee Baker Audio Company. Mike Bliss in the number 2. He's running 14th, but around goes Hensley. Here comes the 6. That's Corelli. This will be for 16th. Just can't stay on the low side of the racetrack. There's the front 2.
Look at Hornaday go down in the corner, right into the back of Sprague. They did not touch, so that's knowing where you're at. They almost touched going in the corner there. But you can see Hornaday very, very strong getting into the corner.
And the bumps with Harvick apparently not damaging the Napa truck at all.
Here we go. Here comes Hornaday on the inside.
Power move off turn 4. For the lead, can't do it. Now the high side. Oh, in trouble. There's fire.
Caution out. Bad wreck on the front stretch. Lots of debris. Caution out.
Boris Sed's truck going into the corner. Caution on the speedway.
Tom Hubert's in the inside wall on the front straightaway in the 18 truck.
Still see a little flicker of flame beneath the Federated Auto Parts truck, and Boris clearly okay. The net is down, and he's going to scamper out. And there's Tom Hubert's truck, the 18. Poor old Boris said he had a 6th place run going. Caution, lap number 135. It says no fear, but it was a scary moment for Boris said. We'll continue in a moment. Cleanup is still continuing here at Nashville Speedway USA. We're riding with Boris Sed's truck, which is on the wrecker right now. There you see the remains of the number 44. Let's take a look from a number of different angles at a scary situation, buddy.
Okay, you see the 31 there, Tony Roper. He gets crossways. 18 gets into him there. That is Tony Hubert. And as they start off the corner, Boris Said gets into him. I think he knocked the fuel pump off. That made the flames really come out of the 44 truck.
Now we'll show you real time from another angle. Watch from Rich Mickle's truck.
Whoa.
Scarier. Now watch here.
Okay, here's Roper. They make contact. You're riding the 18 truck. Wow. And that's why I like broadcasting.
I hear you. Watch this again. Watch Roper, the turquoise and gold truck right there, clipped the 18, spins the 44, and they went on down and the fire unfolded. Boris said is just fine, got out of the truck, walked over to the ambulance, but he has put down a good bit of fluid, gas, oil, etc. So this cleanup is going to continue for a while. We're under yellow at lap number 139. Caution for the 6th time here tonight with Jack Sprague, the current race leader, took over the top spot at lap number 128 and now leads here under the yellow at lap 139. Tell you, we've talked about it time and again. You rarely see flame, but when you do, it's got to be a driver's scariest moment, buddy.
Anytime you see a flame like that, And the driver especially, he does not know why it's flamed up like that, and you hope it's something that blows out in a hurry.
Watch it again.
Ooh,
Big
Boris
time
said, what? You can see the flames. They're back behind the front wheels. That's the reason you can't see them right now on the Boris said number 44 truck.
If you're a Bob Keselowski fan, he's back on the racetrack after the accident of earlier. He is 52 laps down, but Keselowski's on the track, and so is that man, Jack Sprague. He is our race leader. Right now, we've got time for an AutoZone Tech Fact, brought to you by the more than 1,650 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
Everything's
Here's
important
Barry
in
Dodson.
NASCAR racing these days. The most important thing right now for us is this right here, a radio. It was brought along by Bobby Allison in 1972. Then in the early 80s, people brought along spotters. A lot of times if you folks at home, you hear somebody say clear, inside, outside, there's a wreck in turn 3, there's a wreck in turn 4. That's coming from a guy up top. An extra set of eyes and ears for us. Very vital to our performance on Saturday and Sunday.
And there you see the spotters above the Nashville Speedway USA, looking on and in radio contact with their respective teams as we continue under the caution. Glenn Jarrett has caught up with Boris Said, who has just exited the infield care center. Glenn?
He's still sitting inside the ambulance, Eli, but sure glad to see you sitting here, Boris. You're okay, but boy, that was scary.
Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, the Federated Auto Parts guys gave me a really good truck today. I was biding my time. You know, I've gone 18 races without ever crashing in an oval, and it was bound to happen sooner or later. Unfortunately, just got tangled up with a lap guy that hit the wall. And I feel really bad because there's 2,300 people from Federated Auto Parts, and we're having a really good run. Bad news is now I got to call Ernie up in his motorhome, so I think I'm going to call him 1-800-COLLECT. At least he can pay for the call. But I'll save you money anyway, Ernie.
I can't top that too much, except to say Boris has been suffering from the flu all week. He had to get some oxygen at halftime, so he just hasn't had a good week at all.
No, he hasn't, Ernie. You and Kim will be getting a phone call in just a moment or so. But I'll tell you, Boris Said has really come a long, long way this year as a fine race car driver. Open in Atlanta, Winston-Salem, Knoxville, Tennessee, Dallas, Texas, Cincinnati, Ohio. They're going to Chattanooga, Tennessee, Phoenix, Arizona, somewhere near you. There is a NASCAR Thunder, the official store of NASCAR. Check it out. And if you want all the information, exact locations, just log on to country.com. Get all the info you need about NASCAR Thunder, the official store of NASCAR. With Buddy Baker and Glenn Jarrett, I'm Eli Gold. Glad you're able to join us on a warm but very, very pretty night here in Nashville. A lot of sports going on tonight. The Tennessee Oilers of the National Football League in town this evening, playing the San Diego Chargers. And from what I am told, the crowd here at Nashville Speedway is as large as is the crowd over at Vanderbilt Stadium. They're talking to 15,000 people here tonight, and a disappointingly low 15,000 plus over at Vanderbilt Stadium for the NFL preseason game. So NASCAR again doing darn well against the NFL competition in town here tonight. Glad you're with us. Let's see what happens now on the restart. Kevin Harvick. Watch that lap back. He's got it for the moment.
Here comes Hornaday looking to the inside of Jack Sprague as they head down into turn 3. He's trying on the outside, Eli.
There goes Hornaday, runs up on Harvick. Kevin goes a lap down. Sprague cleanly with the top spot. Hornaday gets by as well. So Harvick's visit to the lead lap lasts about 2/3 of a lap. Folks from MCI bringing you NASCAR timing and scoring here in Nashville. Resendiz in 8th. Tammy Joe up to 9th. Rick Crawford is 10th. How about Toby Butler there in 12th?
Having a great time this weekend. He said he didn't know how well he'd run, but having a great time in the 60 truck there.
That's Kevin Olson's truck. He'd never been here. Olson never been here, and they're doing a super job. There's Rich Bickle in the 17. Trouble now. Oh, Tammy Joe Kirk. Tammy Joe. Problems in turn number 4. Caution is now coming out. Tammy Joe, we had just been bragging on her.
Whoa,
look at Hornaday squeezing by. Lordy.
I'm going to tell you something.
NASCAR better do some of that 75 truck. It hurt somebody.
That's not us, folks. That's the spotters saying something.
The spotters were talking about the 75 truck. Here's what happened. She just lost it.
Yeah, look right behind her.
Crawford on
there
big touched
barely gets by. Never touched her. What a great job by Rick Crawford.
So lap 147, caution for the 7th time. Tammy Jo Kirk now running in 19th position. We're coming right back. Ron Hornaday still running in 2nd spot, but I'll tell you, that was quite a movie made to get around Tammy Jo Kirk.
See Tammy Jo right on the top part of the racetrack. Watch Hornaday in the 16 go right up against the wall. There's a lot of debris up there. He was very lucky not to spin there. Luckier he didn't get in the side of the 07 of Tammy Jo Kirk.
By the way, Rich Bickle this evening. You see that sign, Gilda's Club, right there underneath that Goodyear logo on the dash? Rich is racing for Gilda's Club tonight. That's an organization inspired by the late comedian Gilda Radner. Remember her? Well, Gilda's Club is a place where folks living with cancer, along with their families and friends, can kind of join together to build emotional support, social support, along with their medical care. And Darrell Waltrip, who owns this truck, is donating $1 for every lap completed by each and every one of the drivers here tonight. Those dollars going to Gilda's Club. A wonderful, wonderful item here from Darrell Waltrip Motorsports. How about this battle for the lead?
Whoa, contact there. Jack Sprague got into the left-hand corner there of the 16 truck of Hornaday. Hornaday has the lead again, though, Eli. As he heads down the front straightaway here, you can see, looking back, Sprague just got caught right there on the restart.
New leader at lap number 151, Ron Hornaday.
That 70 truck running in 3rd place there, that's a local star around here, Joe Buford, doing a great job tonight.
Buford still in the 4th spot. There's Kevin Harvick in the 75. He's a lap down in 17. Buford now in 3rd. I believe I said 4th. He is in 3rd. Hornaday, Sprague, then the lap truck, Harvick, and then Buford. What a wonderful story here. Didn't have a great night here last night. Ran the late model stock car event. Here again, the battle for the lead moments ago.
Eli, we've watched this all year long. Hornaday on restarts, almost unbeatable on the outside, going right by Jack Sprague. He has the preferred line now going in the corner a little bit harder, takes that inside away, and Sprague has to settle for 2nd.
We talked about the front 2 right there. How about Rich Bickle? We talked about him with that Gilda's Club logo moments ago. Rich is now running in 5th spot. You see him right there coming at you in the die-hard colors, trying to get around the 20 of Butch Miller, who is running in 4th.
And just behind them is Joe Ruttman in the 80 truck.
Joe's in 6th. Stacy Compton, a great run. Troy Silberg, the crew chief, in 7th. Dave Resendiz is 8th. Running in 9th is Toby Butler. And 10th, Rick Crawford, as you ride with Rich Bickle.
You see Bickle very, very low coming out of the back straightaway there. He heads down into turn 3. Let's see how low he goes. Right down on the yellow line. Let your truck come up just a little bit. Now he's trying to make a move on Butch Miller as they head down the front straightaway.
Nightfall now descending upon Nashville, Tennessee. 8:15 local time. Folks from Napa with NASCAR timing and scoring now as you see the battle for 4th. Butch Miller in the 20. Here goes Rich Bickle.
He's up there. I think he'll probably... Oh, Butch Miller driving very, very hard down into turn 1. You can see Bickle fighting back as they come off turn 2 there. Almost contact. Not quite.
They've got Joe Buford just ahead of them as well. Here goes Bickle for 4th.
You see Joe Ruttman right in the middle there in the yellow nose of the number 80 truck there. Would love to run very well. This is hometown for him.
Bickle is still hurting. You're right. Ruttman is from just down the road a piece, so he was born in Upland, California. He lives here in the Nashville area. Bickle still hurting after his Indianapolis Brickyard 400 injury. He still has one pesky rib that will not quit hurting. And he says, man, I hope I feel better before we go to Watkins Glen next week for the road course.
All his damage is on the left rib cage, so when he starts turning back to the right next week, he'll know it, believe me.
Great battle for 4th. By a half truck length, Bickle. But here comes Miller right back. Great battle, Glenn.
It is, Eli. The thing that impresses me is they're running side by side and actually gaining ground on Joe Buford, who's running third. They're slowly but surely closing in on him. That's incredible to run side by side and make up ground like that.
There you see it right there. Riding with Bickle now.
You see Butch Miller fighting back, a little contact there through the middle part of the corner as they head down the back straightaway. These trucks are going at it like there's no tomorrow. Butch Miller not giving up an inch.
And they're not touching one another either.
And Ruttman's going, come on, guys.
Do something. All three great veterans and fine short track racers. This just a half-mile track. Mike Wallace is in the garage. Wayne Anderson now subbing for Scott Walters. Bob Keselowski, Randy Tolsma, Rob Rizzo all in the garage. Brian Reffner, Boris Said, and Tom Huberts.
Boy, I tell you, there's a lot of respect when you see trucks go at it like this. Not any contact to amount to anything between the two trucks. That's admiration for each other when you race that cleanly, that close.
Well, you're not going to find a more savvy group of veterans than Bickle, Miller, and Ruttman either.
Ruttman will probably get in here and start rooting a little bit because he really is aggressive. You can see him now trying to get up on the outside there of Bickle as they head down in the corner. You could see the right front corner blowing on the 17 of Bickle, using the brakes very hard to keep out of the 20 car or truck as they were going through the corner, using too much brake right now, losing ground.
Let's see if they see it again at the right fronts.
You'll only see it going in the corner where he's really down on the brake.
So
you
on
can see
Ruttman's
it.
truck.
Yeah, they're all, whoa, little contact there. Ruttman and Bickle made contact getting into turn one.
So Butch Miller wins that battle. They go around Eric Norris, the number 12 truck. Bickle, then Ruttman in that order. They have also caught Buford, as we've been telling you. Meanwhile, up front, it's still Hornaday right there, nose to tail with Jack Sprague as we work lap 169 of 250. A big prelude to the world of outlaws coming up later tonight. We're racing it. Joe Buford was running 6th and has just now brought out the 8th caution flag of the evening. Buddy, let's take a look at exactly what happened off turn 4.
Okay, you can see Buford there very loose as he starts to come out of turn 4. One time earlier tonight, he saved it. This time, just got a little behind on the guidance stick there. You can see he's in trouble.
Well, what a great job he has done this evening. First time to compete in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Joe Buford brings out the first caution of the evening. We'll head down to the pit lane in just a moment. Pit stops taking place now. Bob Keselowski, Buford is in. Eric Norris, Tony Raines, all making stops. This is lap number 177. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
And Joe Buford comes to a sliding stop here in his pit. They're going to make a chassis adjustment. The truck was a little loose. Remember, we reported it was loose earlier. It got looser in the second half there. Joe told me before the race his biggest concern, guys, was driving on radial tires. He just hasn't had any experience on them, and they behave entirely differently, as Buddy can expound on, than a bias ply tire. When the radial tire breaks loose like that, you don't save it like you used to could a bias ply, do you?
Well, the reason for that, Glenn, as you well know, you've been on them too, the sidewalls are so much more rigid. When it starts sideways, the tire itself kind of drags across the racetrack quick because of the stiffness of the sidewall. Bias ply tire that they used to run on used to give a lot, and the actual part of the footprint of the tire would stay down on the pavement instead of jerking it across.
So a little lesson about what transpires in the world of radial tires as we're about set to go green. Quick reminder, folks, if you're racers and you like games, check out TNN Motorsports Hardcore 4x4 for the Sony PlayStation and the Sega Saturn system. It's in stores right now. The fenders are crunching, the wheels are busting, the doors are flying off. No, that's not tonight. Well, it is kind of, but it's also on the Sony PlayStation. Hardcore 4x4. More information, you might want to go online at country.com and get all the information you need. Green flag. Tammy Jo Kirk in the 07 trying to get a lap back. can't do it.
But it's not going to happen. You can see Hornaday. I can't remember anybody beating him on a restart in a long time. You're riding with him now and looking back at the field as they head down into turn 3. You can see Sprague there in the green truck just behind him. You can see a white truck racing very, very hard there. But what a great shot looking back out from the lead truck. Now you're looking with Mike Bliss's truck as he works under Chuck Bound as they head down towards the front straightaway, the 99 truck there.
That was 10th and 11th spot you were riding with there moments ago. But you're right, nobody beats Hornaday on a restart. Last time that happened, I think Eisenhower was in the White House.
Look at Butch Miller here in the 20 truck. He's really making a move on Sprague now, just on his tailgate as they head down the back straightaway with Rich Bickle in tow.
That's third place, the battle right there. And again, Butch Miller, first of the week, had most of the team leave. Many of them went to the Lance Norick operation. Only the team transporter driver and one mechanic remained. And even the mechanic is leaving after tonight's race. But they got everybody done, rehired, new folks. And here's old Butchie running in third right now. Bickle in fourth, Joe Ruttman in fifth. Lap 183 of 250 on the board. 16 trucks on the lead lap. Butch Miller trying to make a move. We'll pick it up as soon as we come back. We're live in Nashville. See the front 5 trucks together, and Jack Sprague trying to make a bid but couldn't get to the inside. You've got the next truck in line, the 20, Butch Miller, that's the white truck. Rich Bickle in the black and orange. You've got Joe Ruttman in that yellow truck. That's 1 through 5.
Boy, I tell you, you can throw a blanket over the first 5 trucks. They're very, very close right now. One slip by Hornaday, he could go to 5th without any problem at all. And just behind them, Stacy Compton running very well in the number 86.
Compton in 6th. Dave Resendiz in 7th. Great run for Toby Butler. He's in 8th. Chuck Bound 9th, and 10th is Rick Crawford. Mike Bliss is in 11th. 12th spot belongs to Rick Corelli. Chase Sauter 13th. Jimmy Hensley 14th. 15th is Joe Buford. 16th, Tony Raines. Those 16 trucks are on the lead lap. And let's see if Sprague's got something.
Boy, he's got a fast truck on down the straightaway. Gives up nothing to Hornaday. He seems to be very quick. You see Hornaday slipping up.
He's down there. Clear.
There's a good battle for the lead. Also back in 10th place, you've seen some good scrambling, but we'll stay with the lead right now.
Get inside. He's under you.
Turn 3.
Hornaday just pounded in very hard. Sprague fighting back on the inside. These trucks are very evenly matched.
Now Eric Norris goes high in the 12. Going down yet another lap. Lets the leaders go by. We're at lap 193 of 250. There's Chuck Bound running in 9th spot. Take a look at what happened moments ago as he tried to work with Rick Crawford in the battle for 9th.
Just a little move down through 2 trucks there to go right on by Rick Crawford. That was Tammy Joe Kirk in the 07 on the outside there.
And the 99 is Chuck Bound. To his left in the 60, that's Toby Butler, we've told you. Back on the circuit now after beginning the year as the Ken Schrader team driver. Toby's running well in Olson's truck. They're now in the 8th spot. Back up front. Still trying is Jack Sprague.
Now I'll tell you, if it was a 500 lap race, Jack Sprague will give 100% from the time they drop the green flag till the checker comes out. He does not know what quit means, so he is going to give Hornaday all he wants here in the closing laps of this race.
And you know, Hornaday's won 5 short track races in a row, but in that same span, Sprague's average finish has been 4th. So he's no slouch on the short tracks either.
No, well, anybody that's ever been to Concord Motor Speedway knows this guy knows how to win. They used to call him One Track Jack, but not anymore. Then they started calling him 1 Mile Jack, and now they just call him Jack Sprague, the driver.
But it's Ron Hornaday who continues to lead. He has made up 133 points to the series leader in the last 8 races. His wife Lindy is looking up the official destination of NASCAR. Come on by and visit. Even at this time of the year, they're open weekends. 889-6611. Give them a call. Get all the details about the official destination of NASCAR. That is the race leader now, Jack Sprague. There's second place, Ron Hornaday. Let's show you what happened on the racetrack.
Okay, you can see them going side by side down the front straightaway, right by the start-finish line. Here goes Jack Sprague by. They make a little contact here. He takes the 16 truck up about a half a lane. Hornaday right now is giving up ground to Jack Sprague as he moves away.
That was at lap 2:01. The lead changed. Glenn Shower with an observation.
Well, guys, unfortunately for the Ron Hornaday fans out there, Fred Graves, the crew chief, just told me that Ron radioed in and said the engine feels dead up off the corner. They suspect they have a broken valve spring.
Boy, that's something you've not heard much of lately. A problem for Ron Hornaday. Jack Sprague now around Kevin Harvick. He has won at Phoenix and Nazareth this year. Jack Sprague has. Trying to break into the win column on a short track. If he can do it, same truck that he drove last weekend in Flemington, New Jersey, to a 4th place finish.
You can see Rich Bickle right now fighting with the 20 truck right now as they're going through the corner there. Bickle trying to get this spot away. I'm sure he wants to get up there. Only 5 points out of the lead in the point standing. You see Bickle right now with some bruised up ribs fighting very, very hard. Butch Miller's driving the 20 truck there. Run very, very well. I think Hornaday, though, when he got past a while ago, what that means that they usually break the inner spring, not the outer spring, and eventually it will break the outer spring. Then you hope the valves don't drop down on the piston and knock a hole in it.
That's a bit of a lesson right there, as you see Butch Miller now working to stay ahead of Rich Bickle. That's 3rd and 4th. Harvick they go. Lap 212 on the board of 250. 8 caution flags thus far for 46 laps. Andy Houston has just retired his truck. Electrical problems sending him to the garage. There's a good battle for 12th now. Bliss has it in the 2. Sauter wants it in the 3. Keep your momentum up using that outside groove a little bit.
Well, what you do, you really don't tear the tire up. You can see right there, Jay Sauter fighting very hard in the 3 truck on the bottom, but you see momentum on the outside. When you come off, you're running about 5 to 6, 7 miles an hour faster by holding that outer line on the outside, getting off the corner.
Back stretch, lap 215. Jack Sprague continues as the leader while we watch this battle for 12.
That truck is running very, very well. You can see the nose of the truck of Jay Sauter really torn up from a wreck that he was involved in, a kind of a chain reaction wreck earlier in the race. But look at this truck work on the bottom side of the racetrack.
The first time this weekend that truck for Sauter, the number 3, has been on a racetrack. It was brand new. They had no time to really shake it down. First time it hit the pavement was here in Nashville yesterday afternoon. They're running 13. After problems of earlier today, he was involved in that lap 89 accident. Here's a battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th now. Hornaday, Butch Miller in the 20, and Bickle.
You can see Hornaday go on the bottom part of the racetrack going in the corner and then kind of take the line away as Bickle fights underneath the 20. If they keep racing like that, that keeps them from getting around Hornaday, who's off the pace just a little bit with a little bit of a sick motor.
And all of that is taking place 3 seconds behind the race leader, Jack Sprague.
They don't look very...
Ooh, a little bump draft there. There's the leader right here. Now watch 3 seconds back. They'll just pull right back, and you'll see in 3 seconds' time, there go the 3 trucks battling for second, third, and fourth.
There's Tony Raines on the inside, and the yellow truck there involved in a wreck, chain reaction on a restart not long ago. Much off the pace right now. Here comes Butch Miller. Whoa, he gets almost in the back of Hornaday as they come off turn 4 there.
These guys basically could spin one another out every single lap.
Absolutely. That's why they put the brakes on these things. And folks, that's not a fire into these trucks. If you just joined the broadcast, they use the brakes, and at nighttime you can see how hot the rotors get as they apply the brakes going in the corner.
The leader, meanwhile, working traffic. Jack Sprague, the 24, is the race leader around Kenny Irwin. Kenny is in 21st, 10 laps down. He's had overheating problems much of the night. Good bit of traffic he's closing in on. He's got Eric Norris, and then the trucks that are running 12th and 13th. That's the kind of pace Jack is setting. Do you realize he's never won on a short track in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series?
That's fixing to change. I have a funny feeling. If he keeps running like he is right now, although the lap prior to this one, Jack Sprague went in the corner so hard he went up and got the loose stuff and almost lost control of that 24 truck.
But 5 wins last year, 2 wins this year, none on a short track. He is just 25 laps. 12.5 miles away from changing that statistic. There's live ASA action right here on TNN. The ASA regulars traveling to the Milwaukee Mile for 200 hard laps of racing. The Track Auto 200 at a Sunday, August 24th, 3 o'clock Eastern, right here on TNN Motorsports. You can contact the Milwaukee Mile for tickets. Also, Labor Day weekend on TNN Motorsports. 3 days of live coverage from the biggest event in drag racing, the U.S. Nationals. It all starts Saturday, August 30th, the Pro Stock Bike Wax Shop Dash. Then Sunday, August 31st, 8 of the best funny car drivers in the $100,000 battle, the Big Bud Shootout, and on Labor Day, the 3 hours of final round action for the 43rd annual U.S. Nationals. It's all right here. Bob Fry and the bunch from Indianapolis Raceway Park will have it for you on Labor Day. There you see second, third, fourth, and fifth now. The 4 trucks, Hornaday and Bickle. The 20 is Butch Miller and Joe Ruttman in the 80. That is second, third, fourth, and fifth. 3 seconds behind Jack Sprague, the leader. They're working some of the traffic Sprague had to deal with earlier.
Sure, Bickle right now in the 17 truck there, the Darrell Waltrip truck, must be thinking, you know, I have a great run going. I am injured, and I don't want to do something right now that might get me in trouble as far as my injuries are concerned. But you can see Joe Ruttman in the yellow number 80 there, putting a lot of heat on the Miller truck there, the 20.
Lap 236 of 250. Ron Hornaday, who led much of this evening. Rich Bickle is not led tonight. Around Barry Bodine in the number 7 truck. He had problems early. Bodine is 7 laps down in 20th spot. Tammy Joe Kirk is a lap down in 16th in the other Jeff Bodine-owned truck.
Eli, look at the brakes on these trucks. Look like there's a fire under them. They're using them pretty hard getting in right now. The reason they're using so much brake is they do not want to go to the right side of the corners here, and they're actually holding the truck with the brake entering the corner.
Only 8 trucks on the lead lap. Chuck Bound just going a lap down. And it'll be 10 laps to go the next time by for our race leader.
Still there. Clear.
From the leader, now back to second place. Hornaday is 6 seconds. 5.59 to be exact.
Clear.
All Jack has to do is watch traffic, and he's got himself his first short track win in this series.
Eli, as you well know, though, on a short track, it happens in a hurry. Just a little bit of fluid, as we saw earlier in the race, entering one of these corners. With the surface of the tire like it is, they run slicks, and the minute you hit moisture on the racetrack, into the wall you go. Jack Sprague is not on a cruise right now. He has to watch everything he does to ensure the victory.
Inside, he's still there.
Here comes Bickle on the
And
inside.
problems for Joe Ruttman in 5th. Problems for Joe Ruttman in 5th. There's a heartbreaker. He got the he was the beneficiary
Look at the
of problems in Topeka.
Which one is it? Get him a wheel.
You hear the questions, which one is it? Get him a wheel. But he goes a lap down now, and his chances for a top 5 have gone away for Joe Ruttman. That will move Stacy Compton up into 5th and Dave Resendiz to 6th. Remember at Topeka, Jay Sauter ran out of fuel, couple of turns from the finish. Here, it's the other way. Not that this was a fuel problem, but a tough break late in the race for Joe Ruttman.
Falling low.
Now 7th place on the Speedway, the 99, Chuck Bound. The 60, Toby Butler. The 14, Rick Crawford. The 6 is Corelli. That's 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. That's the first Ford on the racetrack, as here comes Butch Miller. He and Bickle battling for 3rd. Bickle's got it. Miller wants it.
Miller's got the better end of this. On the inside there, they always say 8 tires corner better than 4. But Miller's down on the bottom there, trying to take his spot away as Bickle fights back on the outside. You can see right there, getting in the corner, the truck bottomed out just a little bit, and Miller got by.
There's problems for Jimmy Hensley in 14th. Jimmy Hensley with 3 laps to go. Problems in turn 2.
Eli is going down the back straightaway there. You can see the right front corners down.
And caution is on the Speedway. Remember, though, we do not end under caution. We do not end under caution. There's all sorts of debris in turn 2 that has come off the right front, and you still see it shedding.
Hensley
Tape and all sorts of problems.
Hensley tried to turn to get into pit road, going down into turn 3.
There went the tire.
Yep, that's the remaining part of the tire that was dragging along there. But he missed the opening there and had to drag around a full lap there.
Now remember, these races...
wrong with Bickle's truck. It's dragging something too down the back straightaway there.
There's the remainder of the carcass out of the Jimmy Hensley truck. And watch what happens to Bickle right there.
Eli, I believe he did hit the wall there. You can see sparks off the right front corner there as he starts down the front straightaway. He's got something rubbing there. I noticed the right front is flat on the truck.
Now, when the tire is flat, you can make a tire change. You see one crewman helping lift the truck. They couldn't even get the jack beneath the machine. This stop at lap 249. Now let's reestablish for you what the rules are in this series. Number 1, since we're inside the final 10 laps of the race, it'll be a single file restart with only the lead lap truck starting up front. Secondarily to that, these races do not end under caution. We will have a green flag, a lap later the white flag, a lap later the checkered flag. So we will have a green flag finish here in the Federated Auto Parts 250. Dennis Conner there, the crew chief.
That's him leaning over there. He's on top of the war wagon there. He took the headsets off. They're talking about something pretty heavy there.
Looks like that, I believe, is his wife, Gail Conner, who handles fuel mileage charting and so on for all of these, for that particular team. Here's what happened to Jimmy Hensley now. Watch him right there.
Whoa, right front goes flat, going into turn 1. You see him fighting to hold that truck off the wall. Did a great job keeping it down low there.
There's another.
Whoa, look at that go.
I don't want to touch it.
No, I think it's lost its $100 prize there. That's a pretty ugly looking wheel.
They've come out now to pick up another piece of debris here on the front straightaway.
Eli, it has to be flat to change it, you know. It's a 5-lap penalty if you take a tire off a truck and put a new tire on there if it's not flat.
A lot of cleanup yet to go. We're going to break away, then come back for the finish of the Federated Auto Parts 250 in Nashville. Back atop the safety vehicle to try and align the field correctly. As we told you, within the final 10 laps of a race, it is a single file restart. Only the lead lap trucks or cars in NASCAR Winston Cup can start behind the safety vehicle. They are trying to get all of that position. You see Rich Bickle's truck there, the 17. They're trying to determine where he should be. Indications are he had pitted too soon. And he should go to the tail end of the longest line of traffic. Now here we only have one line of traffic because it's a single file restart. And there is a discussion as to whether he should get behind the last truck on the lead lap or go to the last position on the racetrack. Meanwhile, Dennis Conner looking at stopwatches, sweating it out. Remember, too, how well Hornaday restarts. He's in second, and Sprague is the leader. They'll sort out the Bickle situation after a while. We are going green. Let's see what Hornaday can do, if anything. They're going to put the black flag out for that black truck, Toby Butler. They are also black flagging Rich Bickle for restarting in the wrong position.
Jack Sprague was not going to have any of Ron Hornaday jumping him on the start there. He was conversing with Dennis Connors. That was the conversation a while ago about what he should do on the restart to counteract anything that Hornaday might do. You can see it really worked. The communication was great.
He said, "Get gone, Jack Sprague."
A little bit loose off the corner there.
Problems for Sauter. Right front is flat. But here we come for the win. Jack Sprague will finally pick up a short track win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Barely brushes the wall. Checkered flag. Dennis Conner and the boys have a victory on a short track. There is the number 60, Toby Butler. He comes across the line in 12th, but remember, he was black flagged for passing to the wrong side on the restart. Glenn Jarrett.
And with Dennis Conner, all the guys congratulating him here. Not me. Oh, we're going to see him shave his head. He said that if he won on a short track, he would shave his head. So we've got the razor. We've got the edge. Here we go. I can't believe it.
They need a better razor, I'll tell you.
He didn't have a whole lot of hair there anyway, guys.
An old mile track Jack has won on a short track on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Congratulations, Dennis, all you and the crew. Great sense of humor there, buddy.
They told me the razor blade ain't sharp enough. I put a new one in this morning. I can guarantee you when I get on the ground, she's going to get shaved, because I'd give anything to win this race for Rick Hendrick. Jack Sprague, Quaker State Chevrolet, sunshine, everything in the world.
Congratulations again to you guys. We're going to stay right here and watch the big shave.
It could be ugly, but we'll update you on that as the evening continues. That's also the winner of the Plastic Coat Winning Finish Award, Dennis Conner. Plastic Coat, the official spray paint of NASCAR, giving $1,000 to Dennis Conner as the winning crew chief here this evening. Don't forget, at the end of the year, the crew chief with the best average finish will win $10,000. So our congratulations to Dennis Conner. Jack Sprague is in victory lane on the short track in Nashville. We'll sort out all of the scoring for you as soon as we come back. We'll double check on Rich Bickle and a lot more when we come back. USA, Nashville, Tennessee, and time for the General Motors victory lane. First time on a short track, Jack Sprague. Glenn?
And Eli's standing down here with his wife, Rhonda. Miss Nashville's got the guitar over here for him. I know you can't play that thing, but boy, you sure played a good tune tonight on the racetrack.
I tell you what, I've wanted one of them guitars for an awful lot of years, but hey, first of all, the guys at Hendrick Motorsports, Dennis Conner, my whole crew, Rick, Jimmy, they gave me a great Quaker State Chevrolet. We've raced this truck 3 times, won twice, and got a second at IRP. I can't say enough. Rick was on the radios with us for the second time like he does the Cup deal there, and he talked to us all night long, and, you know, it's a lot of fun having him here when he isn't here, but I'll tell you what, these guys gave me a great truck. finally got a short track win. And I think Dennis' hair is full of shaving cream.
Yeah, we've renamed him Foamy Connors now, and congratulations again to all you guys. We want to stay. We'll get film and footage of this shave, guys. Congratulations, Jack. All you guys back up top to Eli.
Oh, Foamy. I knew him when. Now the Mopar High Performer of the event. The honor this evening goes to Rich Bickle, and officially right now being shown in 6th spot pending a review of the most recent restart. But he came from 25th regardless, and a great job, bothered still by the tender ribs after the injuries at Indianapolis. Our Mopar High Performer of the event brought to you by Mopar, Chrysler Corporation Parts, and the Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, Jeep, and Eagle dealers who sell and install them. There's the old guitar, as Jack Sprague says. We told you earlier about the traditional trophy that goes to the race winners, Miss Nashville Speedway. Are you proficient on the guitar, Mr. Baker?
Yeah, well, not really, but I tell you what, to have that guitar, it means a lot. Nashville is a hard racetrack to get around. My hat's off to Jack Sprague, Dennis Connor, and all the group. And Rick Hendrick, we're praying for you, buddy. Fight, 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 and win. Over.
Amen to that. Amen to that. There's old Foamy and the crowd filing out darn close to a capacity crowd here at Nashville Speedway USA here tonight. So Jack Sprague winning in Phoenix. He wins in Nazareth. Both are 1-mile tracks. He won 5 times last year on the big tracks. But finally, here this weekend on a short track, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series victory here. Oh, they've gone to the electric clippers.
I hope it's sharper than his razor was.
Of course, he doesn't have much to shave off. He always has that close cropped look anyway.
That's barely a down payment, huh?
I believe they need a John Deere or something.
What has television come to? Whoa.
We're trying. I think you need to start at back.
You know, I bet one thing. I bet Steve Kinzer right now thinking, hey, full moon, green car wins. Maybe I can too.
Yes, Steve Kinzer had lost an engine last night in the qualifiers, but he's in the big show tonight. That's coming up in just about a half hour from now. Of course, trucks and tractor power will be coming up as soon as we move off the air here in about a minute or so. And then in a half hour from now, you've got the whole crew, Ralph Shaheen, Brad Doty, Bobby Gerald, Steve Evans, and all the rest out at the Knoxville Nationals. That is coming up in just about 30 minutes from right now. The Pennzoil World of Outlaws with their biggest race of the year. That's the unofficial result right there. And again, they're going to review some of the finishing positions, but the important one is right there at the top. Jack Sprague picking up the victory tonight, his 3rd of the year. Joe Buford, 18th for the local star. Barry Bodine in 20th. And continuing our look on this full moon night in Nashville, there you see how some of your favorites have finished. And on through 34th. You've got Mike Wallace coming home in 34th. Well, Jack Sprague picks up the win. Ron Hornaday 2nd for Buddy Baker and Glenn Jarrett. I'm Eli Gold. Trucks and Tractor Power is next. Good night from Nashville, Tennessee.